Yeah, here at Charlotte Police Headquarters, we don't know all the details of the customer service training yet. What we do know, though, is that the police chief announced the changes for Charlotte police training right after the guilty verdict in the George Floyd death up in Minnesota and right after a police shooting up in Ohio of a teen girl with a knife. Both worst case examples, I guess, of what police already train for now. Ma'am, drop the knife. Ma'am, drop the knife. We're inside a Charlotte police training simulator, learning from our training officer how cops decide whether to shoot or not shoot. Drop the knife. In the same life or death situations we see in the headlines. Drop the knife. Drop the knife. Now. What we're seeing on the screen is just an interactive training video. It's not real, but it sure feels real.
You allowed her to stab her before you shot. So do you feel like you acted appropriately?
No.
The problem with that is it's too late to do that now.
We have about 600,000 citizen contacts every year. And one or two of those that go bad could spark an outrage within the community, and that's unfortunate.
But as Chief Johnny Jennings told us after last summer's police protests in Charlotte, most encounters with police aren't life and death.
This is not an us against them. This is how we can be better.
Which is why CMPD is hiring the same consultant that worked with Starbucks and other big companies.
They want it to be easy for all employees to understand, measurable, actionable, trainable.
To help develop customer service training for Charlotte police officers.
It's putting more pressure on Chief Jennings. He mentions that this is not a PR stunt, but we feel it is a PR stunt.
Jolien Ortiz is spokesperson for Charlotte's Fraternal Order of Police, which represents the cops on the street.
Hey man, let me see your hands. 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 Put it down. Put it down. Drop the gun.
And Ortiz says you can't compare customer service at a Starbucks or a department store or a theme park to these high-risk situations that cops in Charlotte face every day.
Shots fired! Shots fired! Shots fired! Shots fired!
That's why the FOP disagrees with Chief Jennings over the $60,000 cost and even the need for customer service training.
And that's not what we want. Our officers want to give good service, good community service, engage with our public, be able to be the solution to the problems that are happening in those communities. That's what will help officer morale. That's what officers are trained to do and they're taught to do even at the academy level. If you take the funding out of all of that, you are taking part of your community away. Because officers are there. They're the first people that you interact in on your worst day.
It was just literally him pointing a gun at me and calling 911 saying he had me at gunpoint. That's not a good way to start a conversation.
On Tanya Jameson's worst day, she was out of state, changing the license plate on her newly purchased SUV, when an off-duty police officer pulled his pistol.
Saw me from across the street and held me at gunpoint because he thought I was trying to steal the car, even though I explained to him multiple times that I'd purchased the car and that I had all the paperwork in my bag. All communication goes out the window when you come in with that perception.
Now, Jameson is chairperson of Charlotte's Citizens Review Board, which investigates police shootings and makes recommendations to the police chief on whether officers acted properly.
Obviously, we don't want our officers to try and be, fuzzy and warm and fuzzy with a violent criminal, but with your everyday interactions with people in the community, yeah, there needs to be better interaction, better communication. It's your ability to talk and communicate with people. And so to have customer service training and say, okay, we're gonna look at how we interact with the public differently.
You gotta calm down. It's all right, man. It's okay.
It's okay, man.
It's okay.
It's all right.
We got
It's
you.
all over now.
We got you. We got you, man.
It's just,
we're here to help you. Come on.
calm down and we'll talk.
Jameson says she supports anything that brings more communication and more compassion to police work, whether you're a victim or a suspect or just putting a new tag on your car.
Yeah, being at the other end of a police officer's gun definitely changes your perspective, and you realize how quick they are to draw. I don't think the police have changed. I think that it is the public's awareness of what is actually going on. There is that fear now, and so it's different. The best scenario is that routine calls and routine interactions with the public, with non-violent individuals, just regular routine interactions, don't end up with somebody being shot. It opens the door to looking at things in a different way, looking at things through a different lens than you've typically done this before. And so I say it can't hurt.
Policing is completely different. The program just for us seems a little far-fetched. It's just not going to happen. If you're breaking the law, the customer is not always right.
By the way, that whole concept of customer service training for police is pretty new. In fact, the consultant that CMPD is working with on the project has never worked with a police department before, which means whether the training here in Charlotte succeeds or fails, a lot of other police departments will be watching.
We hope you enjoyed the story. If you don't want to miss any more great stories about the Charlotte region, please subscribe to our YouTube channel.